YouTube, what's the deal? It's your boy TVB coming back at y'all with another video once again. And today we're going to be doing a breakdown between the difference of a power wheelie and a clutch-up wheelie, and when you might want to use the two, or when you might not want to use the other, and basically what the difference is between them both. So let's get into it. And just a little disclaimer, some smaller bikes just genuinely don't have enough power to do power wheelies, so you might not be able to do it. So the only resort you do have is to do a clutch up. So, and another disclaimer, this isn't factual, this is just my opinion on how I feel about both, because I am very experienced at doing both. I do power wheels, I do clutch up, do everything, but there is a difference between the two, and I'll give y'all my reasons of why I genuinely like the clutch up better, even though I'm fucking stellar with both of them. And for anybody new watching, we will be doing this on my Gixxer 750. It is set up to wheelie and race and do all of that, but it is a freaking perfectly functional wheelie bike, and it just loves wheelie, and it just makes wheeling very easy compared to other bikes out there. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna break this video down. Alright, what's the deal, YouTube? So one of the main differences between the two is going to be power. As you can see, power wheelie versus clutch up. Typically when you're doing a power wheelie, you're going to be relying on power rather than the clutch snatching you up, which is going to bring you up a lot easier. But when you do have enough power to do power wheelies, it'll bring you up just as quick while doing such, but you'll be just relying on 100% the twisting of the throttle rather than you know, just clutching up. And with power wheelies, I'm gonna say, in my opinion, though I'm good as hell at doing both of them, they can kind of be sketchy in a sense, and maybe that's just the way I feel now, but I still feel this way to this day. And I do power wheelies and clutch ups every freaking day of me riding, but I swear to you, man, them power wheelies feel just as suspicious every time that I do them. But yeah, this the bike we out on the street, man. Let's have some fun, man. Oh, and as I was saying, with power wheelies, you're relying on most of your power. So in order for some bikes to actually do power wheelies, like if some older 600s literally can't do them on stock gearing, and what gearing is just the sprockets that you have. So in order for some bikes to do them, they do have to change their sprockets and make them just a little bit more aggressive, because, or even sometimes they just gotta tune them. But the easiest way to do it is just change your sprockets if you want to have the ability of bringing that front wheel up with just relying on throttle. And I'll show you guys the difference between the two real quick. Okay, so what a power wheelie is what we're doing. We probably gonna be in, maybe I'm gonna say a lower gear, depending on what kind of bike you're on. If you're on 1,000, you can probably bring it up in third, fourth, shit like that. But on a 600, 750, your most powerful gears are going to be your first gear and your second gear. And these two gears really make a difference when being in that power, man. Let's turn down this street and see if we can get a clear pathway. Yep, we can. Let's get it. Alright, so I can do a power wheelie right now. What a power wheelie is literally, like I said, just relying on throttle. So I'm going to twist the throttle and it's going to bring me up. That's it. That's exactly what a power wheelie is. Well, the reason I say it's kind of sketch, because when you're so reliant on throttle like that, it's like a high tendency of you just accidentally whiskey throttling, because you're already bracing yourself to twist the throttle, and you might just keep twisting that motherfucker even when the wheel come up. So that's why I say it is very sketch. And actually, man, a lot of riders freaking go down doing that. Them freaking power wheelies, they get everybody, man, because it could just be unpredictable. Because since you're so high up in the power band, any little movement of the throttle can either accelerate you a drastic amount, or it can decelerate you a drastic amount. And depending on how high you are is how effective the deceleration or the rolling off the throttle will be. Because sometimes with power wheelies, I know a lot of people have fell victim to this from not knowing the rear brake, but sometimes you get it up there and you do a power wheelie and you get so high, and when you're riding it and you try to let go of the throttle to bring it back down, and it just so happens to not come back down as you planned, and you know what happens after that. Bikes get tumbling down the road. But I'll show you guys a clutch up right here as well. And in my opinion, this is going to be the safest wheelie you can possibly do. So literally what a clutch up is we going so basically what we're doing, we're grabbing the clutch and releasing it, but at the same time we're going to rev the bike. So it's going to be the motion of basically vroom, and then you're going to bring it up. I'll show you guys at the stoplight as well once I'm in neutral, so you guys can see. But literally all it's going to be for a clutch up, you're going to and then release the clutch at the same time as you stand on the throttle. And when you release the clutch, you kind of want to be gentle on the throttle, because you don't know, well, you do once you get used to it, but as a beginner, you kind of want to be gentle on the throttle, because you might be unaware of how high your bike will come up from the reaction of you clutching up, essentially. And for clutch up, man, the reason I say it's like so much safer than doing a power wheelie, because the power wheelie, you're gonna be all the way at the end of the power band. Maybe not at the end of it, maybe you'll be at around 9 to 10,000 RPM, which is like a key point in the power band, and any little movement of the throttle, like I said, can either put you on your ass or it'll put the wheel back down. But depending on how you are, it'll keep going back if you just let off the throttle and you don't know the rear brake. But with the clutch up, you just, since you're revving the bike, and then once you let go of the clutch, the RPMs drop back down. You can do it at a slower speed. And after this light, since it'll be most likely be a clear road, I'll show you guys a clutch up. I'll wheelie at balance point, so I'm gonna clutch mine up pretty high, but we can definitely see. And when it comes to clutch up, there's levels to clutch up. You don't have to clutch up so high. I clutch up so high because I've been riding for a while and I've been wheeling for a while, and just I've got a lot of seat time, so I'm used to how high the bike would actually come up. But I'm gonna show y'all how I would personally do my clutch up, meaning I'm gonna pop it straight up to balance point. I'll show you right now. See, and I'm up there, and just like that. And you guys hear how the bike is so quiet, rather than you guys hear how the bike was so quiet rather than me chasing it throughout the power band? Yeah, that's because I know how to wheelie at balance point. But then again, it's also because I don't have to use so much momentum to get the bike up. I can just clutch it up and get it to where I want it to be, rather than me chasing it with the throttle and getting it to where I need to be. And watch, I'll show you guys a power wheelie now, and you guys can see. And just to be fair, I'm gonna do it later in the RPM, because my bike is geared for it to do power wheelies like first or third, so it's kind of not fair. But if you guys were trying on your bike, it'll probably be, I'll say you should be in first gear, and you'll probably be at around like 8 or 9,000 RPMs. Alright, so this is a power wheelie right here. Literally the same thing, just twist of the throttle, and I'm gonna do it at a higher RPM so you guys can get a grasp of how it would feel on your bike. So literally all you're doing is yanking the throttle. You don't have to really yank the bike up much, just yank the throttle and it'll come up. But as you can see, you see how fast the freaking RPMs rose up, as to me clutching it up to a point and doing it that way. And watch, I'll do a clutch up where I'm not so high in balance point, so you guys can see what I'm talking about as well, because man, clutch ups are just overall safer in my opinion. So for a clutch up, literally you see how once I clutched it up and once I released the clutch, the RPMs dropped back down, and then I was able to just ride it out. Yeah, you can ride it out through the power band to make your wheelies go longer and longer, which I do not recommend. But the overall gist of me getting it up in the air, you don't have to use so much momentum, is what I'm saying. Because man, those power wheelies, if you're not on a 1000, I mean on a 1000 they still suspect to me anyways. But just in general, man, having to freaking rely on power wheelies is just so suspicious, man. Like, I know if you ride, you might be able to understand exactly what I'm talking about. And then once you get so comfortable with clutching up, man, you can just clutch it up to wherever point you would like to and just ride it right there, rather than having to rather than having to use so much momentum by yanking the throttle and getting the wheel up in the air. And since we're talking in a wheelie video, I'ma freaking warn y'all now. If you planning on learning how to wheelie, whether that be a power wheelie or a clutch up, please, 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 please make sure you're practicing touching the brake when the wheel comes up and familiarizing yourself with the rear brake. Because I promise you, if you do so happen to have an oh shit moment, that'll be the only thing that saves you. It's legit like your safe haven. Like if you happen to mess up and go too far back, whether that's you chasing the wheelie out or even if you clutch it up too hard, which most likely you won't, because when people tend to learn how to do clutch ups, they're not freaking giving it enough gas to loop themselves in the first place because they already scared of what they doing. But yeah, and then when it comes to clutch up, I know we shouldn't be doing this on public roads anyways, but the clutch ups are a load safer because of the speed that you have to be at in order to pull them up. You can be at freaking 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour doing a clutch up, rather than you freaking starting your wheelie off at 30 miles an hour because you're going to do a power wheelie and you doing it on a public road as well and endangering other people. Like, yeah, wheelies are dangerous in general, especially when you don't know what you're doing. That's why if you do want to practice, man, go to a lot or something just in case you wreck your bike. You don't got to wreck nobody else's car because you're going to be in the wrong 100% of the time. Overall, clutch ups is going to be way better than freaking power wheelies. Like, and I can't stress it enough. Like, I cannot stress it enough. And I've been riding for 7 freaking years, been wheeling for 7 freaking years, and my opinion is still the same. Clutch ups for the win. And then you doing your wheelies at like freaking 30 miles an hour when you clutch up. Yeah, you won't be doing that from the start because you'll be still chasing out your wheelies. But as you progress in the long run, you'll be able to improve and basically get more, I guess you could say, height on your wheelies and won't be so scared of the wheel being up in the air, basically bringing you past balance point and up to balance point. Power wheelie right now. Like I'm good at both, man. I can go through all the gears I want to on the power wheelie, but I just choose not to. Cause still to this day, man, them things feel like I'm really cool at doing them. But it's just knowing what can go wrong, I guess, that gets me when doing a power wheelie. And I'll give y'all a couple more examples. So once again, power wheelie, just all throttle. In my opinion, let me say it again, the most dangerous wheelie you can get yourself into doing. But hey, everybody starts somewhere and everybody got to figure out on their own pace. And some people genuinely like power wheelies over doing clutch ups. I'm gonna just say, because it's because they're not as familiar as with popping the clutch than they are just yanking the throttle. Because I don't see how you can like these freaking power wheelies at all. I mean, they're cool, but I mean, all wheelies are cool, but they're just dangerous. And like, how ironic is that of me to say that they're dangerous when I'm freaking doing a wheelie at freaking 12 o'clock. But to be 100% honest, it's like a good side of both, because once you do learn how to progress with your freaking power wheelies and stuff, you can just be clicking through gears. Like clicking through gears, just like that. And that takes a lot of seat time and practice and repetition of doing it over and over and over. But it's all fun at the end of the day. And how crazy is this that I'm freaking doing a riding video right now and I just so happen to run up behind the police. Like, how ironic. That's actually funny as hell. again, let's get y'all this clutch up. I'm very safe at doing them now, so I can throw them up wherever. But yeah, them clutch ups is where it's at every time to end this video. Like, it's just a much safer platform to learn on, especially when you know the rear brake, cause it won't leave you chasing your bike down the street, and that's what I don't want none of y'all to do, is chase your bike down the street. But yeah, with that being said, that'll conclude today's video on the comparison between, or not even a comparison, but the difference between a clutch up and a power up. Like I said, at the end of the day, a clutch up is extremely safer, in my opinion. Like, a clutch up is much more safer than a power wheelie, and I'm gonna keep saying that. And I hope you guys were able to grasp the difference between the both, a clutch up and a power wheelie. You know, both of them have their perks depending on the situation, but like I always say, a clutch up is where it's at. But even when it comes to racing and your wheel come up, power wheelies is gonna be where it's at. But that's why I like being experienced at both, because I know what I'm doing. Like, when it comes to my overall ride, let's say I'm being in the canyons, coming out of a corner hot, and that will come up, I'm gonna know what to do. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, let me know how y'all feeling about it. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace. Slow clutch up again. I just hit a big old bump. But yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.